Hey friends, happy Tuesday before Thanksgiving. So, I wanted to do another video because we're all heading into Thanksgiving. And a lot of people love this holiday, and there's probably some of us that don't. Um, so it's always a mixed bag, right? Like who you're talking to and who this video is going to resonate with. I don't really know that it matters if you love Thanksgiving or if you don't for this video. What I'm going to touch on is relationships because it really starts coming up during the holidays because we're around our families, we're around family more, friends more. And even with COVID, we're still interacting with our families and friends, whether it's through Zoom, videos. Some of us are brave enough to get together. We will always, as long as humanity continues to exist, we will always be in relationship with other humans. And that gets messy, right? Especially when you don't have the skills and the tools to know how to manage relationships. A lot of us have a lot of manuals about relationships, and that just fucks it all over. It does. It really does. So that's what I wanted to talk about today is Thanksgiving, coming together with our families and doing it in a way that isn't so stressful, that isn't so frustrating and creating more bitterness or resentment or tension. Those tensions where you can like cut a knife through it in the room. That way you can enjoy the holidays and enjoy the humans that you call family, whether they're your friends or your family, your extended family. So let's dive in. There is a concept that's called manuals. My coach taught me this, and so I will teach you guys this. So manuals, you can't even see it. So we won't even use the whiteboard. Manuals, like a computer operating manual, right? Or the instruction manual for anything, tells you how to use this thing, right? Like what are the steps in the sequence and how this thing should behave and do. Well, we have those for other humans. We have them for ourselves. We have them for our partners. We have them for our kids. We have them for our parents. We have them for the strangers. We have them for our friends. We have them for our coworkers. We have them for our boss. We have a manual. I should have a book here. A manual for each human. And that manual says, this is how this human should behave. This is how this human should show up in the world and should interact with me. When this human follows their manual, then I will be happy. Does this sound familiar? We all do it. Gosh, I loved my manuals. I really did. Nobody abided by my manuals, ever, but I sure did love those manuals. And I'll give you an example. So I have a manual for how strangers should act at Walmart. When I go to Walmart, the manual says that kind and considerate humans will take their shopping cart and put it back in the shopping cart container area. Okay? They will not leave their shopping cart out in the middle of the parking lot. They'll put it back in the shopping cart container area. And if the humans do not put the shopping carts back into the shopping cart container area, then they're assholes. Okay? So I have that manual for the strangers at Walmart. And when a stranger at Walmart does not put their shopping cart back up in the shopping cart container vessel, I get pissed. Because they're going against my manual. Manual says you put it up. They didn't put it up. So then I'm like, that little son of a bitch. Go put your fucking cart up in the shopping cart container. Not that hard. Be considerate of the rest of us. And so I'm the one that's angry, right? So I spend an hour, 30 minutes of my life being frustrated and angry because this stranger human didn't follow my manual. Meanwhile, that stranger human is moving on with their life. They're not angry. They're not upset. They're doing their thing, living their life, right? Perhaps they have a manual that says, I'm just going to leave the shopping cart here. That person that pulls up in that parking spot might need that cart. Or I'm doing job security job security for someone that goes and picks up the shopping carts. I'm doing them a favor, right? So then they feel happy and good that they left the shopping cart out. Meanwhile, I'm the one that's mad. And we all know what anger from the Buddha says is like holding resentment, anger, and bitterness is like drinking poison, hoping that your enemy will die. It's not beneficial or helps anyone. It really harms you. So when I learned about these manuals and I saw like, oh, I have a manual for all these strangers, how strangers in society should operate. My manual says strangers should be kind, considerate, polite of everyone else. However, I think some of you will agree with me. Yeah, they should. You're right. Except, here's where the sticking point is. My manual is what brings suffering to me. Because I cannot control the other humans. They get to be 100% them, free will, and they get to show up and play by their rules. I don't get to control them, right? So then they're coming against my manual all the time, and I'm the one that's being upset. Versus, if I just acknowledge the fact that I have this manual for them, and then I'm going to set it down. And I'm going to just let humans be humans and not expect them to behave and act a certain way, because me expecting them to behave and act a certain way is coming from my belief system, how I was taught, how I was raised, how I am interpreting the world and thinking the world should behave. And let's pause on that. That does not serve us humans. We have been doing it, especially here in America, for a very long time. Can I hear someone say amen when it comes about our politics? We think that our beliefs around our politics is how the rest of the world, the United States, should agree and believe. But that comes from our beliefs. That comes from our personal experiences with the world. It comes from your beliefs about your politics, comes from perhaps your family, perhaps your education system, perhaps your religious affiliation, perhaps the state you're born in, the culture that you're around, right? No one else has your unique experience in the world but you. So to expect other humans to abide by your political manual is kind of insanity. We don't all have the same experiences. We don't all have the same teachers. We don't experience the world the same way. So for us to judge harshly another person that has a different political stance, a different religious stance, a different color of skin, a different culture, all we're doing is judging them from our manual, our belief system, our life experience. And it's like drinking poison and expecting our enemy to die. We're the ones that are angry. We're the ones that are frustrated. We're the ones that are showing up in the world and social media from a very ugly place that we're not proud of. Versus if we just say, look, I have a manual. They have a manual. They have a manual. They have a manual. And they have a manual. Okay? And the humans get to be exactly how they are, and they get to show up just how they are going to show up. And by me imposing my manual on them, it's just creating suffering for me. Because humans get to have free will and show up exactly how they want to. Doesn't mean there's no consequences. Still consequences. But we still have free will to show up and think and then believe and act how we choose to. So when I learned that, and I learned the humans at Walmart can do what they want with their shopping trolleys, shopping carts. My niece used to watch Peppa the Pig, so I'm used to shopping trolley. They get to do what they want to with it. I don't control them. I don't know what their beliefs are. I don't know where their thoughts are around it. But I know that me getting mad at them isn't changing anything. So, if the shopping trolley out in the parking lot really bothers me, I'll go put it up. If it doesn't bother me that bad, then I'm going to leave it there. And not get mad at that human who left it there. Because they're just being them. And that creates so much grace for myself. For them, yes, but for myself, because then I don't have this expectation of myself to people please as much. Because I understand that other humans have their manuals, and I cannot read or understand their manuals because their manuals are all in their brain. And last I checked, we cannot read other people's thoughts. We can't get in their brain and read their thoughts and understand their thoughts. So they created these manuals out of their own thoughts and beliefs and experience. There's no way I'm going to ever know, ever, what my husband's manual is for his wife or for his mom, right? Unless I talk to him, but then I'm still not going to get every single page of that manual, right? So then it's like, okay, I'm not going to people please because I don't know your manual. And your manual is your manual. It comes out of your thoughts and your beliefs. I just have to show up as 100% me from my thoughts and my beliefs and be willing. Well, let me back up. I have to show up out of me from my thoughts and my beliefs and like them. Know that I have done enough work around my beliefs and my thoughts that I like who I am when I show up and my reason why I chose those thoughts and beliefs. So another example is I used to have a belief that humans weren't safe, that they were evil, and most humans were bad out to get you. Humans, the other part of that I wrapped around in that is humans are a plague to this earth, and it would be better off without us. And so that's how I filtered and saw the world. All humans I came in contact with, except my friends that were in the safe zone, all people that were outside of the safe zone, not my friends, were not safe. And they were also damaging the world, right? And I included myself in that I as a human am damaging the world. The problem is that belief didn't serve me. It really made me show up in this world angry, defensive, closed off, resentful, and I was just constantly looking for evidence to prove that belief true. And if you want to find evidence to prove those beliefs specifically true, there is a shit ton of it. So much. But I noticed that belief just like, it was holding me back from serving. It was holding that other half of me that wanted to be a helper and serve people and help people. It was holding that part back. And so I couldn't show up in the world fully me. And it created this constant tension for me. And I was just not happy, right? Like if you spend your life looking for negative evidence to prove a negative belief true, like you're not going to be very happy. So when I was willing to look at that belief and see that I just created that belief in my head, and then I just was looking for evidence all the time to prove that belief true, and that there is another option, another belief that humans are beautiful. Why are they beautiful? Because we're 50-50. 50% good, we're 50% bad. And isn't it beautiful that most humans choose to be good most of the time? Even though we can choose to be bad, we choose to be good most of the time, and that is beautiful. And that belief right there shifted it all. I started looking for beauty in humanity, seeing the good in humanity, the kindness, the compassion, seeing how humanity is trying to take care of the earth. Not all, but there's a lot of us, regardless of political sides, that love Mother Earth, and we're trying to take care of her and trying to do right by her and trying to rectify poor choices that humanity has made in the past. And so when I started looking for that and seeing that stuff, it shifted that belief, and I could start showing up in a more compassionate, loving way towards my fellow man, including myself in humanity. So I could start showing up for myself in a more compassionate, loving way. So, manuals. We have them all. Check your manuals at the door when you go for Thanksgiving, okay? Like they're all just doing the best they can and trying to just be the best human they can be, being 100% them. And we just let them be them. They get to think and do what they want to, okay? And I love the saying, Kim is being the most Kim can be. She's being 100% Kim. So when you have a family member that's like, just repeat that mantra.